Hi, this is Takashino from Jazz Love Japan. Today I just want to talk about the, one tenor saxophonist whom I love, but somehow I think is overlooked and underrated. And his album, the album is this. Yes, I don't know whether you know this album. This is J.R. Monterose. Straight Ahead. That's the title of this album. And the label is Xanadu. Xanadu label. And this is a reissue. But talking about J.R. Monterose, the first I heard about his name is from the album of Charles Mingus, the legendary album called Pithecanthropes Erectus on Atlantic, right? One of the legendary jazz albums, modern jazz albums, all time, right? That's one of the first albums, jazz albums I ever bought, when I started listening to jazz, some 38 years ago. Yeah, and I just saw the name J.R. Monterose, and he was playing very great, very steady and also solid, heavy tenor saxophone. And as you know, he has the leader album on Blue Note, J.R. Monterose, the same title, which I also bought, after I bought the Charles Mingus album on Atlantic. So I love that, J.R. Montero's playing style and his saxophone, tenor saxophone. But somehow, he doesn't have many, leader albums. And this is one of them, And as most of you guys, as heavy jazz collector knows that, this is not the original, title and album. Original release was on Jaro, right? J.R. Monterose, The Message. That's the title of the album. Original release on Jaro. Jaro is a minor jazz label in the US, and The Message is the title of this album. But I think Xanadu US reissued the same session with the different jacket design and a different album title. And here in Japan, JR has been very, very popular. And that album on Jaro, The Message, was one of the jazz albums that heavy jazz collectors in the 60s, up to the 70s, even the 80s, I think, were looking for. And this, I think, is the first reissue of this session, in the early 70s by the Toho Japan. Yeah, they use the Xanadu jacket design and Xanadu album title, the Straight Ahead, but the pressing quality and the sound quality of this reissue by Toho Japan is very good, very good. And here in Japan, this session, this album, either on Xanadu or the Jaro label, has been reissued many times, I don't know how many times, 4 or 5 times, here in Japan. First by Toho, this one, and I think by Teichiku in the 80s, and Shinseido together with the Teichiku Japan in the early 90s, and also in the mid 90s, I think the Venus record reissued it with The Message, the title, and the Jaro label. Yeah, that was also great. But I think the Venus reissue was stereo, but this one is mono. Yes, mono. And I love this, mono reissue. I don't know why. Stereo reissue is also good, but this mono reissue has a very solid, powerful, sound. That's my personal opinion. But anyway, I love this album, and this is the first reissue of this album here in Japan in the early 70s. But I don't know the exact year that this was released here in Japan by Toho Japan, but I'm sure early 70s. You can get this one, reissued very cheap here in Japan, maybe in the US or somewhere in your country. So in case you don't know this album or reissue, I think it's better for you to dig. It's such a great album. You look at the members, Jaro Monetrose on the tenor saxophone, and Tommy Flanagan on piano, and Jimmy Garrison on bass, and Pete LaRocca on drums. What a members, right? So you cannot expect the bad session from these members. Yeah, of course they are great. They are great. All of them playing just like crazy. Hard bop, real hard bop here. Anyway, as I said at the beginning, J.R. Monterose, somehow, I don't know what, but he doesn't have many leader albums like this. And also, as a tenor saxophonist, I don't think has been popular among the jazz collectors all over the world. But I love J.R. Monterose and his style of playing tenor saxophone, and somehow he's underrated. Yeah, that's what I think. Yes, that's it for today. I hope you like it. Lastly, I would say, just continue staying safe, healthy, and be connected with the music we love, jazz. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.